It's good to see everybody fellowshipping and worshiping, but I have a little bit after 10, and depending on how long-winded we get, it might take a little bit longer. So, and if anybody wants to move up, then y'all come on. Don't be shy. Jody said she can hear me. She don't need to move up. Well, fine then. Y'all stay back there. Well, now if I try to move this, then all my stuff might fall off. So it's fine. We'll open up with prayer requests. Does anybody have any spoken prayer requests? Yes. Okay, so pray for Pastor Floyd and his family. Okay? Anybody else with a spoken? Okay. All right, anybody else? And I don't think Jim will mind me saying, y'all remember Jim in prayer? God's going to touch him one way or another, be it through surgery or be it through miraculous healing, whatever it is, you'll be touched and changed. All right. Dear Lord, I thank you for this day. I thank you for everyone who came out on this crisp morning to listen to your word. I pray, God, that everything that is said and done here this morning will be in your name and for your glory. I pray for each one of these prayer requests. You know every individual need, be it spoken or unspoken, and I pray that you will touch each one of them. I thank you for this time. In your name, amen. All right, before I get started, I don't know if y'all have looked forward in the Sunday school book, but there is, in the very front, there's a little message with a correction in it. So next week, be it me or Byron, whoever's going to teach. This week we're doing the Christian's hope. So then next week we'll actually do lesson 6 instead of 5, and then we'll go back to lesson 5 the week after. So, what you watching? All right, the lesson this week is called The Christian's Hope. The central truth is God is the only hope for all people. And the golden text is Psalm 31:24. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all ye that hope in the Lord. This part of Jesus' sermon builds on his teaching about greater righteousness, focusing on how believers should view material possessions and the risk materialism poses to our loyalty to God. Jesus encourages his followers not to worry about daily needs. We should devote ourselves fully to God's kingdom. Total commitment to God's kingdom is the solution to worrying about possessions and financial security. The focus on material wealth ties back to the prayer for daily bread and the Beatitudes. There's 3 illustrations in this lesson, and it's treasure, the eye, and servitude. These highlight the proper mindset that we should have towards money, leading into the familiar teaching about not worrying over the future. When we put God's kingdom first and trust in his provision for our daily needs, we are freed from anxiety about material security. Servitude. All right, we're still in Matthew chapter 6, and I'm going to start out with verses 1. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. In the ancient world, treasure usually consisted. These days, I'll say first, when we think of treasure, people automatically think of money. If you have treasures, you have money and you're rich in humans' standpoint. But in the ancient world, treasure usually consisted of fine and elaborate clothing, as well as precious metals and jewels. For those with agricultural estates, treasures could also include stores of grains or other similar food stocks. While there's nothing wrong with possessing treasure, you must take care that your heart is not set upon storing those treasures. The reason is that none of the treasure will last, and all of it can be lost at any moment. So he teaches us about not accumulating earthly valuables for ourselves. The Greek term for lay up or store up can also mean treasure up. So Jesus' command could be understood as, do not treasure up treasures on earth. Earthly possessions do not last forever. They can rot. Somebody can steal them. They can disappear. I mean, what you have today, you can go to bed tonight and wake up tomorrow. Somebody could have cleaned out your bank account and you'll have nothing. House fires happen. You can lose all of your possessions. People break in and steal. Everything of value, monetarily valued, can be stolen or gone away. Yes. Exactly, and we're going to get to that part too. Randy said when you die, you lose everything anyway. And we said, I think it was week before last, there is not one hearse that will have a U-Haul behind it. So everything you have here, it doesn't matter in the big picture. We do. And I have said that, and because you know it is an issue. People make a big deal over where they're going to be out there in the cemetery. Well, who's to say you can be there anyway? Because if I was in charge, I'd slide you over a spot just out of sight. No, that's not nice. I wouldn't, but I'm not over the cemetery either. So, let me see where I was. Okay, even if it's preserved, material wealth holds no lasting benefit beyond this life. Jesus' instruction does not imply that citizens of God's kingdom cannot be wealthy. So you can have money, and a lot of it, and live beyond being comfortable, and that doesn't mean that it didn't come from God or that he doesn't want you to have it. I've told Byron, you know, often I wish he would test me with that, you know, for maybe a month or so, but we live on love around the Brown household, and that's okay. The real danger lies in hoarding our money to secure our future against disaster, rather than sharing our surplus with the needy and giving to God's work. When we try to accumulate more wealth, and that's what our mind is focused on, then we are just broadening the gap between the rich and the poor. And you can use your resources to minister to people who are less fortunate. The pursuit of wealth can blind us to the needs of others, leading to a world where some thrive while others struggle to survive. This is contrary to the value of God's kingdom.